Hello, everyone. Welcome to the APH Virtual Excel Academy. Today is your Money Management Masters session. Feel free to drop in the chat who you are and where you're from. We are really happy to have you with us again today. Welcome, welcome. I'm in Tallahassee and it's even cold here, so it has a high probability of being kind of chilly where you are. Welcome to the APH Virtual Excel Academy. Today is Money Management Masters. Now, this is a session that's really built more for middle school and high school students. If that's not you, you're still welcome to stick around. We just want you to know if it's a little over your head, that could be why, depending on how old you are. One more time, it is welcome to the APH Virtual Excel Academy. Today is Money Management Masters. You get two wonderful, fabulous instructors today. You get Kathy Bingham and Robbin Clark. So I am going to stop sharing and I am going to turn it over to them. Welcome, both of you.
Hello, everyone. If my voice sounds familiar, this is Teacher Robbin, and it's because I'm always here at the APH sessions, but I'm usually just a voice in the background. So I am super excited to be one of your teachers today. And so you will hear my voice. This is Robbin, and I'm going to introduce our other teacher so you know what her voice sounds like.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be with you for this webinar today. This is my very first one, and I could not be more excited. My name is Kathy, and I can't wait to talk about one of my favorite subjects. I love to talk about money and how we can learn how to use it as a tool to help us in our lives and how we can make a plan so we can make the most of our money. So I want to start out today by playing a game called Budget Busters. Budget Busters is a great game where I will ask you some questions and Robbin can help me ask you questions as well. And you get to keep track of points that you earn based on how you answer these questions. Throw in the chat if you are ready to go.
All right, everyone, remember this is Teacher Robbin, that we will be using the chat for everything. I already see Tobin and Nadia saying ready. Go ahead, you can type the word ready, you can type the word yes. We just want to make sure that everybody does know how to use our chat window. It looks like everyone who is with us is ready to go. If you're watching this on the recording, don't worry, you can still play our game and do all of the fun things that we are doing in today's session. So this will always be a question that you can answer for this section. So this is the game Budget Busters. Here is our first question.
Our first question is, give yourself 5 points if you can tell the difference between a penny, a nickel, a dime, and a quarter. If you can tell the difference between a penny, a nickel, a dime, and a quarter, type Y in the chat. Looks like Nadia has that with the Y. Nice job, Nadia. Looking for others who can identify coins. Chad and Donnie. Oh, I might be reaching out to you guys for some tips and some advice. All right, if you have typed Y in the chat, what are some tips and strategies that you use to tell the difference between these 4 coins? I know that I can say they are all different sizes. How many of you guys can tell the difference based on their size? Nadia says quarters are rough. Nadia has picked up that idea that right on the very edge of the quarter, there are all of these grooves. So when I rub my finger on it, it kind of feels like I'm rubbing my finger along a zipper, and it just kind of bumps from groove to groove to groove. That's an excellent way. There is one other coin that has a rough edge, which might be harder to feel. Who knows what other coin has a rough edge like a quarter? Tobin says a penny. I like that guess, but I'm holding a penny up right here, and as I rub my finger along that, that is very smooth. I don't have grooves. Nadia came in again, and she is telling me that a dime. Thank you, Tobin and Chad. Nice job, Joy. I see grooves on the side. I'm holding a dime up right now to my camera. It might be hard to see them, but if I rub my fingernail on them, I can absolutely feel every single groove as I go by. So since a quarter and a dime both have grooves on the side, how do I tell the difference between a quarter and a dime? I love Nadia's idea. A dime is lighter. It is not as heavy as a quarter. And Joy is chiming in telling us that quarters are bigger. Excellent job, you guys. I think we've done a great job distinguishing between our quarters and our dimes. Then the interesting thing we have left are pennies and nickels. As I feel them, both their sides are smooth. So how can I tell the difference between a quarter and a penny? I mean, a nickel and a penny. Tobin is right. Pennies are smaller, and I'm going to hold them right in front of each other. That penny covers the whole face of the nickel with a little bit of edge all the way around. Nice. And Nadia again chiming in with that weight. Excellent job, Nadia. Nadia, the penny is lighter. Very good. I think a lot of you guys earned 5 points for that budget buster question. I'm going to move on to budget buster question number 2. I need to know if you know how to fold your bills, your cash money, so that you can identify the denomination. How much money do I have based on how my bills are folded? And if you can do that, you get to give yourself another 5 points. I'm watching for some Y's in the chat. And this makes me very excited. Chad, he threw in a Y. Nice job. And Donnie as well. Chad and Donnie. So let's look at a $1 bill. What technique do we have so we can identify a $1 bill? Do I fold that one in a specific way? Chad says no. Nice job, Chad. If I leave my dollar bills unfolded, then I know if I have a bill that's not folded, then that is a $1 bill, and that will help me keep track of my ones. Let's move on to a $5 bill. Who has some advice for us for how to fold this $5 bill so that I know it's a 5? Hot dog style and in half. Nice. There are 2 ways that we could fold this bill in half. If I'm going to fold it hot dog style, I'm going to take both of the long ends of my bill and I'm going to have them touch. So I end up with a long, skinny rectangle. That is the hot dog style. So that's a great way to fold your bills so that you know this is a $5 bill. Nice job. So if I can fold a $5 bill hot dog style, how could I fold a $10 bill so that I know it's a $10 bill? Hamburger style. Nice job, Chad. So to fold it hamburger style, I'm going to take both of the short ends of my bill and I'm going to fold my bill together so they touch. So this makes a rectangle that's a little bit longer than it is tall. It looks very different from my $5 bill. My $5 bill is long and skinny, and my $10 bill is not very wide. It's like a little bit wider and much taller than my $5 bill. Nice job. So I have one bill left. I have a $20 bill. How am I going to fold this one? I have a friend who could probably fold it and make it look like a crane, but I don't know how practical that would be to put in my wallet. So when I fold my $20 bills, first I fold them in half. So the long sides of the bills are touching. So I fold it just like I do a $5 bill. And then I take it and I fold that in half. So I end up with a small rectangle. Does anybody else fold them like this? And if you don't fold it like this, that's just fine. My bills have gotten from the dollar bill is flat. The $5 bill is folded in half hot dog. The $10 bill is folded in half hamburger. My $20 bill is folded in half hot dog, then hamburger. But here's the cool thing about folding your money. You don't have to fold it like everybody else does. If you have a system that works for you, that's the most important thing. Is you need to be able to make sure that you can identify the money that you have. Another way that you could accomplish this is by putting your bills in separate parts of your wallet. So you know that the ones and fives are on the left side and the 10s and 20s are on the right. That's another great way that we can do it. I think we are ready to move on to question 3. So far, if you've answered yes to both of the questions, you could have 10 points. Question 3 says, give yourself 5 points if you have a way to earn money. And while you're typing that answer in the chat, I love Nadia's answer. She has a bill reader, and that can tell her. I love these answers coming in. Nadia says allowance is a way to earn money. Joy has a way to earn money. And Joy, if you feel comfortable sharing with us, maybe you could tell us how you earn your money. Chores, nice. Money for chores is great. And watching the neighbor's dog. These are some excellent ideas. It can be hard to earn money when you're a teenager because lots of places that employ others need you to be 16 before they can hire you. Some places even need you to be 18. So if you're younger than that, we can get creative about what we can do. We all have something to offer, and we all have something we could do to help others that would help them out that they might be willing to pay money for. Awesome. Do you know any other ideas of ways that you can earn money in high school or in junior high, if that's the age that you are? Nice. Some of us can get Christmas money and we can save it. Nadia says getting a job. You are right. I have a 16-year-old daughter and she was able to get her first job this summer too. And before she did that, she did just like Monica, and she would save the money that she would get for Christmases or birthdays or special occasions. Sometimes our parents give us some money for that. Sometimes we have grandparents and maybe some aunts and uncles that give us money for that too. Donnie does awesome and he helps with the laundry. Donnie, do you take that trip on the road?
That would be so fun. This is Teacher Robbin talking, and I see that Isabel has raised her hand. So I think she would like to say something. So we will give you permission to talk. And go ahead, Isabel, and share with us.
Unmute button, Zoom webinar, lower hand button.
I got a $20 bill from my sister for my birthday on Friday.
Nice.
So birthday money, that's a way. Save it, use it wisely, because you don't have birthdays every day.
No.
But that's really cool. Thanks for sharing with us, Isabel.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
I love
Thanks.
that idea. And another idea I've heard, and I can do some more research on this. There are some places online that you can earn money or gift cards to certain stores by completing some surveys. And that would be something that might be fairly easy to do if those surveys are accessible. Creative thinking and creative ideas on what we can do to make some money.
You know what, Miss Kathy, you cut out for a hot second. So you were talking about doing those surveys or different online jobs. But the most important thing is find some creative ways that you can do that you could earn money. Like everybody has suggested, chores, babysitting, dog walking. Those could all be some things that you could do to earn money.
Awesome. And money's a great thing to have when you're a teenager. The world's your oyster, right? All right. So far we've had the opportunity to earn 15 points. Now I'm going to ask you one more question. Give yourself 5 points if you have a bank account. Let me know in the chat if you have a bank account. Nadia says yes. I love it. I love my bank account. It really helps me keep track of my money. And I remember begging my parents to get me a banking account when I was a teenager because it helped me keep track of all of my money. Bank accounts can be kind of tricky. PNC Bank. Nice, Donnie. Bank accounts can be tricky to get when you are younger than 18, but if you are a student and if you have a parent come in with you, then you can open an account with your parent's name on it, or with a guardian or somebody that's responsible and connected to you. Nadia, I'm unfamiliar with BB&T. Is that a bank that's in your area? And while Nadia is answering that question, I'm going to ask another question. Awesome, Nadia. What are 2 types of bank accounts that we can have? I remember begging. I had one when I was quite little, and then I remember begging my parents to let me open up another one. Savings and spending, says Nadia. That's awesome. When I think of a spending account, I think of a checking account. Nice job. Who can tell me what is the difference between a savings account and a checking account? And one of the reasons might be in the name of the account itself. I know that I use a savings account just like Monica does. Monica uses her savings account to just save the money. You put the money in the account and you save it for another day. Nadia is saving money for college, and you can decide what you are saving your money for. Now, a checking account is a little bit different than that. A checking account is really good to use when you need to make expenses or when you're buying things. So it's a really old fashioned now, but people used to write a lot of checks. And that was a piece of paper that you could say, I want to pay Monica $10, and I sign it, and she takes that to the bank and she cashes it. And I know, or deposits it. And I know some checks still happen, but not nearly as much as they used to. But now you can get a debit card with that account, and a debit card can be used at different stores to make purchases. And the nice thing about a debit card is you don't have to keep track of how much actual physical money you have. You just have to keep track of the electronic balance on your account. Awesome. Donnie, I love your comment about Walmart gift cards, and we're going to talk about the difference between a gift card and a debit card in a little bit after we finish our game. So we have finished 4 questions on our Budget Busters game, and you could have a total of 20 points by now if you answered yes to all of them. But here's the first question we're going to have that you might have to subtract a point. So subtract 1 point if you have ever had a bank account go in the negative. And let me know if you have. Type a Y in the chat if you have ever had a bank account go into negative, or if you can explain what that means. Oh, Donnie, nice job. I am actually really glad to hear you haven't had it go in the negative. Monica has. Oh no, she ordered too much food on DoorDash and she didn't check her bank account first. So when our accounts go in the negative, it's just like Tobin is saying, it means that we are losing money. We have spent more money than what's in our account. And that is not a good thing. It's a hard thing to do that with cash. You can't give more cash than what you have, but in a bank account, you can go in the negative. And if you do that, the bank will charge you fees, which can make you go even further in the negative, which will not be a fun thing. So I'm hoping you guys haven't ever done that and that you won't do that because it's not fun. So now I'm going to turn it over to teacher Robbin, and she's going to keep going with our Budget Buster game.
All right, everyone. So we've gone through 5 basic things and everybody has been giving such great answers. So now question 6 is going to talk a little bit about what we were just talking about. So give yourself 5 points if you have a savings account. 5 points if you have a savings account. Now, savings accounts are just what they say. It means you are saving. You can take money out, but the goal of a savings account is to save. All right, I already see an answer that somebody has a savings account. A savings account can also be a great starter bank account. You can start with a checking or a savings, but a lot of people start with just a savings account and they put all of their birthday money and Christmas money or Hanukkah money or whatever you have into a savings account. All right, so 5 points if you have it. And if you don't have it, I want you to make a little mental Post-it note right now and say, Mom and Dad, or my trusted guardian, I need to get to a bank and open up a savings account. All right, question 7. Give yourself 5 points if you have added any money to your savings account in the last month or in the last few months. So give yourself 5 points if you have added any money to your savings account. Now, for everybody who does chores or walks dogs and just kind of gets little money, you can always take some of that money and put it away. So I'm seeing a lot of yeses come through in the chat window. There is no limit to what you really can deposit into a savings account. Now, that being said, you really can't deposit 50 cents only. That's not very much money, but you can always put $5 or $10 into your savings account. And trust me, if you keep putting away $5 here, $5 there, it totally adds up. So remember, an important part of financial literacy skills is to always have a plan for saving. Oh, a plan for saving. I'm going to take a little cup of water because all of a sudden I feel like my voice sounds like a bullfrog. It's just all scratchy and crazy. So mental Post-it note number 2. Do you think about saving and figure out how you can do a savings plan? And the great part about a savings plan, you don't even need to leave your house to do that. You can just say, Mom and Dad, every week when I get my allowance, I'm going to take $5 from my allowance and I'm going to put it into savings. So a savings plan. All right. Question number 8. Question number 8. Oh, I even have another mention in our chat. Alexis loves to pay herself first when she gets paid. Remember that tip. Pay yourself first. That's the same thing about taking that $5 out of your chore allowance and putting it away. You always want to have a good savings plan. You don't even need to leave your house to work on it. Now, our next question is deducting some points. So I want you to deduct 5 points if you always carry more than $20 in your purse or your wallet. Do you carry more than $20 in your purse or your wallet? Deduct 5 points if you do that. What if your grandma gives you $50 for your birthday? Is it a good idea to carry all of that $50 in your wallet or your purse? Type Y for yes or N for no. And holy cow, the answers are already coming in. I already see people saying no. Some people are saying yes. Another person has said no. So let's talk this out. If you said no, why is it not a good idea to carry all $50 from your grandma in your purse or your wallet? If you said yes, why is it a good idea? And we'll we'll compare it. So the scenario is grandma gave you 50 bucks. Is it a good idea to carry all of that money in your wallet? Good idea? Not a good idea. Let's think about that. It would be really cool to carry around 50 bucks. And as Tobin just shared, you can buy more things. Yeah, the more money you have, the more things you can buy. That sounds reasonable. But what are some other reasons or some dangers maybe of carrying all of your money? Let's think about that. So Chad says, no, it's not a good idea. He says somebody might steal your wallet. And I'm going to add a little thought to that. And Nadia chimed in with the same thing. She said people may take your money. Well, Nadia and Chad and everybody else, it's more likely that you will lose your wallet before somebody steals it, which is exactly what Donnie just said in the chat. The reason why you don't want to carry all of your money just for casual carrying around is because you might lose your wallet. You think you put it in your backpack and you didn't. So instead of being viable or losing that, you want to just carry a little bit. Now, the difference is, let's say you want to go to Target and what you want to buy costs $45. In that situation, you're going to want to carry all $50 because what you want to buy is $45. But you want to use that only when you're going to that store. It's never a good idea to just casually carry a ton of cash. The other reason why, and I'm going to go back to what Chad was saying, you can buy more things. It's so easy to want to buy a ton of stuff. I do it all the time. So if you have all this money with you, you're likely going to not be a smart shopper and you'll just blow all your money on everything. So don't carry more than 20 bucks unless you're really working on Christmas or Hanukkah presents or a special occasion. Don't carry all your money at one time. No bueno. Okay, here is our next one. Give yourself 5 points if you have a method or a system for recording what you spend. Now, I can tell you many teenagers have probably never thought about this, but give yourself 5 points if you have a method or a system of keeping track what you spend. I'm going to ask another question. Have you ever thought about, should I even write down how I'm spending my money? Have you ever thought about that? Type a Y for yes or an N for no in the chat. So Nadia's already shared no. Donnie's shared a yes. Tobin shared a no with us. Let me tell you, most teenagers and a lot of grown-ups don't do that. They don't write down what they spend their money on. They just casually do it. They go to Walmart, they go to Target, they go to the stores, or they do a lot of online shopping, and they never take the time to go back and track what they spend. Let me give you a special tip. At least once a week, you should check in on your bank account. So Monica shared earlier that she blew all of her money on DoorDash. I bet Monica wasn't checking her bank account before she was spending. So your next financial tip, check in on your bank account. That's right, everyone. Check in on your bank account. Now, how can you check in on your bank account? Does anybody have any ideas? What are ways that you can check in on your bank account? Let's think about that, because you can do this from your home. While you're thinking about that, I'm going to read that Alexis loves to check her bank app to see what her account balances are. And then I see Chad saying using an app. Nadia says going to the bank. Guess what? All of those answers are correct. The great thing about your bank account is that it is a 24/7 accessible friend. 24/7. That means you can call your bank and listen to your bank account information. You can go to the bank and get your statement balances. Or as Chad was talking about, and I really encourage this one, you can get an app so that you can quickly check in on your bank account. In fact, if you use an app, most apps have a notification and it will notify you to say, guess what? Your friend, the bank account is broke, or something happened, or there's a fraud purchase. So I encourage everyone, this is your next financial tip. Good banking skills means checking in on your bank account. Get an app. Many bank accounts have an accessible app. You can do it on your phone. You can also check your bank account on the computer. You can call it. Keep your bank phone number in your bank account, in your contact list, but don't save your bank account information there. But I do that. My bank account phone number is actually a contact list, and I call my bank and I can just punch in my information. But never put all that information in the same place, just making sure you know. So that's how you can check in on your bank account. All right, let me also have you answer this question. Which do you prefer for checking in on your money? Do you prefer a phone call, an app, a computer, or going into the bank? What method do you prefer? Think about that for a second. I see some answers coming in. I'm going to read them to you. A lot of people said an app. Donnie wants to use his iPad. Going to the bank from Nadia. Now, when we're talking about all of these financial skills, it's so important that you know how you like to do it, because your mom might like to do it one way, but your dad might like to do it another. You pick what works for you. All right, we got to keep going on this game here. Now, we're almost done. 2 more questions. We hope we've given you some great things to think about. Now, give yourself, oh, we only have 1 more question. Oh my goodness. Now Miss Robbin is going crazy. I'm thinking about all of these bank things. Last question, everybody. Last question. Give yourself 5 points if you have a budget. 5 points if you have a budget. I'll let those answers start coming in. I want you to think about, do I even have a budget? Do I have a budget and I've never looked at it? 5 points if you have a budget. I see some yeses coming through on the chat. I see some no's, and that's okay, because now you're going to start thinking about it. Now, here's something I always want you to remember. When I say budget, you think plan. Okay, we're going to do it one more time, everybody. When I say budget, you think plan. That's right, P-L-A-N, a plan. A budget is a plan for how you're going to spend your money. Now, a lot of times in high school, when you sit down to do a budget with your teacher or your parents, you always budget in things like rent, clothes, food, and sometimes you include a lot of big adult categories. But if you're only like 15 and you don't have all of those expenses, maybe you don't pay your cell phone bill, you don't do all of those utilities. Remember, a budget is still for you, because a budget is a plan for how you will spend your money. So you can create a budget that works for you. Maybe your budget categories are going to be how much online gaming I'm going to spend each month. Maybe your budget's going to be, and this is for Monica, how much you're going to spend on DoorDash this month. Maybe your budget includes Uber or Lyft rides, because that's how you get to your friend's house. Your budget is a plan for you, and your categories should reflect your life, not somebody else's. So everybody here in high school, guess what? You can have a budget. Your budget will likely look different than your mom or your dad's, but you can always have a budget for how you will spend your money. And when you know how to spend your money, you are in control of your money, which is a very important part. All right, everybody, that was all 10 questions. How did you do? Were there things that you want to start doing from our quiz? Go ahead and tell us in the chat if there is something that you want to start doing based on what we just talked about. And if you're watching the recording, I want you to think about this. What do I want to start doing right now? We're going to shift to another topic. I see a lot of people saying that they did a good job, that they feel good about it. That's great. But always pick one new thing that you can do. So while you're thinking about that, we're going to switch, and Kathy's going to come back, and she is going to talk about how the money makes the world go around. All right, on to you, Kathy.
I just want you guys to listen to that statement and let me know what you think about it. Do you agree that money makes the world go around, or do you disagree? We don't need money to make the world go around. So far, I see 2 people that agree with me on that one. And Donnie does too. Nadia disagrees. Nadia thinks maybe money doesn't make the world go round. That's interesting, Nadia. I would love to hear more about what you think about that. Because it can be hard in today's society. It seems like everything costs money, and it feels like we need to have money to do anything. So in that respect, it can kind of feel like money makes the world go round. And if we have it, we can be really happy. And if we don't have it, we might be miserable. Nadia thinks that people make the world go round. I like that attitude. That is fantastic. Do you guys think that you would be able to survive in the world today without money? Why would we need that money, and why would money make the world go around? Chad doesn't think he'd be able to survive. And neither does Joy. And Donnie, I don't know if I would be able to survive without money. There are some things that I need every day that I just don't know how to make those by myself. Or even it might be tough for me to even grow all of my own food. So we need to have money in today's society to get some of the things that we need. And we have to remember, when we are spending our money so that we control our money instead of our money controlling us, we have to work really hard for that money. So I know sometimes I look at a purchase that I want to make and I think, how many hours would I have to work to be able to make the money to buy this? So if you had a job somewhere and you were making $10 an hour, say you saw a really cool Halloween costume that you wanted, even though Halloween is done, but it was $40. How many hours would you have to work to be able to buy that costume? 4, you are right. You're absolutely right, Tobin. So sometimes when we look at it in terms of how much would I have to work to be able to buy this, that helps us know whether or not we think, okay, this is worth it, or nah, I think I want to save my money for something else. I want to jump in and ask you guys some opinions on some money facts. So the first question I have for you is, how many times a day do you think the average person spends money? Do you think they spend money 5 times a day, 1 time a day, 0? Chad thinks 10 times a day. Joy is thinking 2. Nadia agrees with Joy. Tobin thinks 1. The average person spends money 3 times a day. That seems like a lot. And I know this can be different because there's some days that I don't spend any money, but then there's other days that I have to go run errands or something, and I stop at like 5 different stores to buy stuff. So that can average it out. So that's a lot of time to spend money. Here's another question to think of. How much does it cost to go to the movie theater? Remember the movie theaters before COVID and when we got to go? How much did it cost to go see a movie and to buy a popcorn and a drink? Tobin hit it right on the nose. Tobin says $20. That's kind of pricey to go see a movie. And that's something, if you're making like $4 an hour at your job, you have to work 2 hours to be able to see that movie and buy your popcorn and a drink. So do you guys think that might be something that you would be able to do a lot or not very often? And then we're going to pretend we're back in the days before COVID hit, when we actually could go to movie theaters. Donnie thinks he could do that a lot. And depending on your budget and your plan, you might be able to. And this is when it's important to look and make your budget based on the things that you buy and the things that you like and that you need. Nice job. I have 2 more prediction questions that I'm curious to know what you think. So if you were to buy a can of soda every day for 99 cents, how much would you pay on soda after 1 year? 99 cents isn't a bunch of money. Tobin says $27. We want to track for a whole year. $1 a day isn't that bad, right? Nadia says $30. Joy says $365. And Joy, you are the closest. If you buy one 99-cent soft drink every day, at the end of the year, you will have spent $361.35. So this brings up a really big important point. Most of the time when we're looking at our budgets and our money, it's not a big purchase that can get us in big trouble. It's a lot of little purchases added up all together. And one more question. I am not including tax on that 99-cent soda, but that is something else that I might need to consider. If I go to a grocery store and I want a soda and it costs 99 cents, is that all I have to pay for it? Or will it cost a little bit more than that? No, that is not. Chad, I'm assuming is saying that is 99 cents is not what it's going to cost. And Donnie says, yes, I'm going to have to pay a little bit more. There are taxes that we have to pay on top of that. Exactly, Chad. Thank you. We have to pay sales tax and sometimes food taxes. And that will vary depending on where you live. Each state has a different tax rate. And I know that Rose Ellen talked about a deposit, and I live in a state that I'm not familiar with what a deposit is. Rosellen, would you like to share and explain that to us a little bit? It's a deposit on the containers. So maybe like, can you get your deposit back if you recycle the container?
Many states, that is the way you get it back on cans and bottles.
Well, that is really cool. Utah should start doing that because that is where I am right now. And that could really encourage some helping our environment and recycling. I love that. And then one more question on my prediction. Well, actually, I have 2 more questions on my predictions. This first one says, what do you guys think teenagers spend the most money on? Donnie says iPads. Tobin says video games. I know Tobin, it must be right up there with my stepson. My stepson spends most of his money on video games. Joy says food and snacks and snacks. Excellent. I know that is what my daughter spends most of her money on, and she is 16. She gets food. She likes to stop and get at the drive-thrus. She likes to go to the coffee shop. Chad thinks clothes and video games. And I love these ideas that are coming through because they're excellent suggestions for categories for your budget that you make for yourself. You can think to yourself, how much do I spend every month or every week on food? And then you can set an amount and make sure at the end of the week, you don't spend more money than you make. I love it. And what do you guys like to spend money on when you have money? Tobin says nothing. Tobin, are you a saver? I love that. I know. I like to spend money when I have it on eating out. And if we look at where we spend our money on, that can help us with our budgeting. Now I want to talk a little bit and move on to wants versus needs. Tell me if you know financially what a need is. What is something that we need? Nice, Nadia. A need is something that we have to live. Great. Something you need to survive, like food and water. That's excellent. We cannot survive if we don't have food, if we don't have water. It'll be hard to survive if we don't have clothing, and it'll be hard to survive if we don't have shelter. Then we're going to jump into wants. Wants are something that make life nicer, but we don't have to have it.
Sorry, Miss Kathy, you froze for a quick second. We heard you say something about shelter and then it kind of froze. So you're back on with us. Go ahead.
Oh no, I froze. It would be hard to live without shelter. And now I want to jump into wants. A want is something that's nice to have, but we can live without it. And I have a feeling that you guys have probably had lessons on this before, that you've talked about what is the difference between a want and a need. So I need water to survive. I need food to survive, but I might not have to have pricey, expensive food. Nadia is chiming in. I think she's giving me ideas for wants, like dolls and drums and piano. Those make life nicer, but we don't have to have them to survive. Then I'm going to introduce a little new category right here. I have a niece that told her dad she needed something, and it was actually a want. And he questioned her and said, "Do you need that?" And she said, "I need it." So my new category is need. Is that something we really, really have to have? Or is that something that really could be a want? And that's where we can look and we can prioritize what is important. So I'm going to take 3 minutes and we're going to do a quick exercise. I'm going to tell you something, and in the chat, if you think that is a want, you're going to type a W. And if you think that is a need, you're going to type an N. And if you think that might be kind of hard to decide, you can type a WN for a need it. So my first one is a cell phone. Is that a want, a need, or a need that? I like Nadia's look, Nadia and Donnie, nice. Most of you are saying wants, but it can be hard in society today to get by without a cell phone. So that could also qualify as a need. Nice job. And then I want to ask you guys, what about fruit? Is fruit a want, a need, or a need? Nice. Nadia and Tobin are saying need. What about shoes? Is that a want, a need, or a need? Nice. We've got a lot of needs coming in the chat. How about a computer? Is that a want, a need, or a need? I'm seeing wants coming through the chat. I think electricity could be a need. It could be really tricky to live in our shelters without that. Here's a very specific one. What about a cane, you guys? Is that a want or a need? That would be absolutely a need. You guys we need our canes to get around. How about hot Cheetos? Is that a want, a need, or a want-need? Awesome. We see that as a want. It is food, but it's probably not the best food we could be putting in our bodies. What about AirPods? Is that a want or a need? Nice. You guys are doing an excellent job identifying the differences between our wants and our needs. And that's very important as we set up our budgets. I'm going to throw it back to Teacher Robbin, and she's going to talk to us about tips for practicing all of this when we're out and about in the community.
All right, everyone, we are wrapping up. And so since we're wrapping up, we are actually going to give you a little bit of homework. What? Homework at the APH Virtual Excel Academy? Yes, homework. So we have been reviewing all of these important financial skills. Make sure that you make a list when you leave our session. What things did we talk about today that you need to work on? That's not your homework. That's just something I want you to do. Your homework is I want you to get really comfortable with your money transactions, because everything that we have been talking about, your wants and your needs, spending, doing all of these things, all come together with money transactions. That means purchasing things. You can purchase things online. You can purchase through an app. You can purchase in person. So pick one way and get comfortable with using it. Because as a teenager, you're so close to adulthood. So you need to be confident with making your purchases. I want everyone to think about, do I know how to make a cash purchase? Do I know how to make an online purchase? And do I know how to use my bank card to make a purchase? I'm going to end with a couple of quick tips. And don't worry, come back and see us in the spring, because we will have more sessions on financial literacy. Yay! So, do you know how to do those 3 types of purchases? Online, in an app, and in person. Those are 3 things I want you to try to do in the next month. Now's a good time to do it. Second, do you know how to make a cash purchase and a purchase with your bank card? Here's a tip for your cash purchases. We talked about all of these things with money folding, but really when you're in a line at Target, which is where I shop, you don't really get a lot of time to stop, fold your money, and do all of these things. So for cash purchases, let's say you get $8 back from your purchase. Instead of stopping and folding all of your money right there, because that's not really the time for it, I want you to be proactive and tell the cashier, $8 is my change. Would you please put my $5 bill on the bottom and my singles on the top? So when you fold your money, you know that your 5 is on the outside. Then you can take your money and put it in your wallet. And then later you can sort it out, you can fold it and take control of it. Or you can do in the reverse. You can put all the singles on the bottom and the 5 on top. The most important thing, you direct how you want your money to be given back. You can also say, please hand me my $5 bill first. Quick fold in the wallet on the left side. Hand me my singles. Quick fold, put it on the right side. Communicate how you want your money. For your bank card, always try to do a credit purchase. And in a future lesson, we'll explain all of these great things to you. But if you have your bank card, it's linked to your bank account. So if you click or select credit, it's not a credit card. It's the credit feature. And when you have the credit feature, all you need to do is sign your name. An ATM or the debit feature means you have to use the PIN pad. There's nothing wrong with using the PIN pad, but using the credit feature is usually easiest, and I do it myself. So I want you to get out there and make some purchases. Get familiar. And when you don't know how to do something, make a note and practice, role play, so that you get comfortable using your money. Holy cow, we just finished. Come on back, Kathy. We have 1 minute to spare. I don't think we have any questions, but of course, if anybody has anything, you could send a question to us right now. If you wanted us to talk about other topics, don't worry. The financial series is coming back in the spring, and we are going to have special sessions on all kinds of things. But I don't see anything coming through on the chat, Leanne. So we're going to give it back to you so that you could say goodbye.
Well, thank you, Kathy and Robbin. Fabulous financial tips. And I don't know how many points I got, but I did pretty good. So I think I'm financially there. Things still need to practice. Now, before we leave, tomorrow is expressing your feelings through music. Next week is our last week until after the holiday break. And on our Wednesday, we have What Are Blocker Cars? I don't know. You'll have to come back and find out. So we will see all of you tomorrow or next week.